Welcome back to the Shy City Boys podcast. I'm Carl Liza. With me, as always, is Jack Thiel from North Carolina. Jack, how you doing today?
Well, you didn't realize we were talking before that you're supposed to wait 5 seconds
I
until.
did.
No, you didn't. The timer hit zeros and then you started. You have to wait after the timer hit zero, then the 5 seconds
Oh my god.
to. So
Okay, I
whatever.
thought it was from when
We're
you.
back.
Okay,
We're back
restart it.
here.
Restart it.
No, we're
Restart
not
it.
restarting.
No, restart it.
It's another week. We're
Oh,
back. We've got a lot to talk about. It's been great so far here in the NC. I'm a Tar Heel now. Carl's still what do they call people from Illinois?
Illini.
Illini? Is that really what they call
I
people?
think so.
Is that really what they
I'm an
call? What
Illini.
else would it be? What else could they call people from Illinois?
Uh,
Chicagoans,
Chicagoans.
I guess Chicagoans.
I'm suburbanite.
Here, let's see.
Maybe.
What do you call people from Illinois?
I don't know.
Illinoisans
Illinoisans. That's
or
dumb.
Illinoisers or Illinois. Yeah.
Let's stick with Illini.
All right, but I'm a Tar Heel right now. Got my
Yeah.
little
Wearing the
horns.
Colorado Rockies hat.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Don't
Well, let's start talking. Get the chivalry out of the way. Let's talk about the newest thing on the docket, and that's the Chicago Bears schedule release that happened today, about 2 hours ago. Which fantastic video. I don't know if you saw it. It was based off of
I did.
Ferris
I did see
Bueller's
it.
Day Off. Very
and
good
Mean
video.
Girls.
Huh?
And Mean Girls too.
And Mean Girls, yeah.
Mean Girls. Don't forget that.
Yeah, you're right. I apologize. But so we're gonna go over the preseason, and then once we get to the regular season, I'm going
Preseason.
Yeah, you gotta talk about it. And then once we get to the regular season, I'll name off the teams and where they're playing, and then we'll go win or loss. At the end, we'll tally up and see what our records are. Okay. So at first, we have the Hall of Fame game, which we kind of we're like,
We already
obviously
knew
the Bears
this.
are gonna play in it. So it's the Bears and Texans in Canton on August 1st. So then we go to Buffalo on the 10th to play the Bills, and then we end at home against Cincinnati. Preseason over. So then, what?
That's it.
So on to the regular season. At home against the Titans. Who do you have winning?
I'm gonna go with the Bears on this one. I think in a couple of years this could be really exciting just because with the development of Will Levis. But I will say this is a good test for the defense because although Will Levis is young, you do bring in Tony Pollard, who is a great running back. Was it JC Latham who went to the
JC Latham, yeah. Went
so definitely probably establishing the running game. But look, Will Levis is no slouch. This is the quarterback that went down to Miami on prime time Monday night and won a football game. He does have Calvin Ridley now on the squad.
Yeah.
So him and D-Hop. You do have Traylon Burks there. I believe they drafted another receiver too, or signed one. I think it was one of the others, but nevertheless,
Yeah.
it's still a good test for this team. Now, I think they should win this game. Let alone their offense should hopefully can prevail against a weaker defense, a revenge game for Kevin Byard as well. So that's kind of a cool thing. But yeah, I think that this can be an exciting game in a couple of years. But I think with how both teams stand right now, I think the Bears are the more veteran-esque team. And we know what we kind of get from Will Levis. We don't know what we're getting from Caleb Williams. So I think the result will ultimately depend on Caleb Williams just because we don't know what he's going to do. This guy can throw for 400 yards and 4 touchdowns, or he can throw for 200 yards and a touchdown and 3 picks. We just don't know what we're going to see. But I think for the Bears to lose this game, Caleb Williams has to have probably the worst rookie debut quarterback to have.
Worse than Jameis Winston's first pass being a pick six.
Hey, man, that's the way
I'm gonna take the Bears as well. I think you put it nicely where it's a good test for the defense, and we're gonna see if Caleb, Rome, the offseason additions are good additions. So I have the Bears winning that game. Next game, which I thought was gonna be the season opener, is Sunday night against the Houston Texans in Houston. Who do you have winning?
It's another good test, and I think it's kind of roles reverse. In a couple of years, maybe that we can have a chance here, but I don't know. You go off how the Texans played last year. C.J. Stroud, obviously the way he played, the Texans were a playoff team. Now they add Stephon Diggs, Danielle Hunter from the offseason, a prolific edge rusher. This is another good test for the defense. Jalen Johnson, Kyler Gordon, and Tyreek Stevenson, they're going to have their hands very full. So I'm going very high scoring here, but I got to roll with C.J. Stroud because he is more proven, obviously, and Sunday, and he does play better when the lights are bright. It's not like he shies away from that. So, like I said, we don't know what we're getting from the Bears just yet. I think they can keep it close. I think it's one of those, 35-30 ball games, but I got to roll with the quarterback who has shown me that they can play in this atmosphere, but also at the same time, this is a team that also, you talk about how much the Bears have gotten better this offseason. The Texans are one of those teams too, top 3 teams that, have been getting better and better. It's the Bears and Texans. So fun matchup. But I just think, and maybe if it was later in the year, I would go with the Bears. But week 2, first game on the road for Williams, that place will be packed. I got to roll with the Texans on this one.
Yeah, I got to agree with you again on that one. I think the Texans are a bit closer than the Bears are to competing. So, and it's week 2. Don't know exactly how the chemistry is going to be with everyone. But that's also the same side on the Texans. They added Stephon Diggs. They added Danielle Hunter. We'll just have to wait and see, but I do have the Texans winning that one. Next up, we're in Indianapolis against the Colts. I'm going to go first on this one. I think the Colts are going to show out, but they're not going to win. I think the Bears are going to have their number. It's going to be basically a home game for the Bears because we're only 3 hours away from Indianapolis. I saw someone on Twitter say, "Oh, it's going to be Soldier Field South already," saying that. And I think the Bears' secondary is going to be a little bit too much for Anthony Richardson, and the Bears are going to win that game.
Yeah, as much as I would love to say that Soldier Field South, I'm sorry, you cannot disrespect Indianapolis fans. They are loud and proud. McAfee's going to probably be there for that game to catch, Caleb Williams. I got to go with the Colts on this one. I think it's another tough test. Look, the Colts, you got to remember, they were a third-string running back away from catching the football to making the playoffs with Gardner Minshew. We've seen, so sample size is small for Richardson, but we've seen what he can do so far. And if he can stay healthy, definitely very interesting. And, I think this is a team that's gotten, they're the same as last year, nothing crazy. They brought back Pittman, Taylor's back, Latu in the draft.
Yeah, Latu, yeah.
Adonai
Mitchell.
So, I just think, one thing I can say, although the Colts are kind of a rival of ours because they did beat us in the Super Bowl, is that they do have a great home base. And I think it is going to be a back and forth game. I think it's going to be very close, but I don't know. I just think the Colts might edge this one out. I think that they're a great team, a great coach. And, I think that's something we're forgetting. This was a playoff team without their star quarterback. And now he's coming back this year. We'll see how it goes. He's got to stay healthy. But I think this could be a big Jonathan Taylor game, too.
Yeah, I agree. It could go either way, but I have the Bears winning that one. Mm-hmm. Next, we're back in Chicago against the Rams. And I think the Rams will win this one.
Mm-hmm.
They'll have, if Stafford's healthy, he's one of the best gunslingers in the league. You have a rising star in Puka Nacua. One of my favorite players, Cooper Kupp. Not because he's white, but because I scouted him in high school when he was getting drafted. Okay. I take pride in that. I scouted him, and I wanted the Bears to get him. I thought he was going to slide to the third round for us, but he got taken by the Rams before that. But anyways, also the Rams have a very up-and-coming defense. Even though they lost Aaron Donald, they still got a lot of sophomore players coming back this year that are really good. Like Ernest Jones, great middle linebacker. He's going to be a star in this league one day. And then who'd they draft? Didn't they draft someone to replace?
They drafted a tackle, I'm pretty sure, defensive tackle.
Yeah, they drafted someone to replace
Murphy.
Donald. Huh?
Was it Murphy from Texas?
Byron Murphy.
Oh, what's him?
I think so. I don't quote me, but no, Jared Verse. They took Jared Verse.
Got it. Okay.
They took Jared Verse, edge rusher. I think he's going to be a problem for Darnell Wright or Braxton Jones, whichever side he lines up on.
They did take a tackle, though, Braden Fisk from Florida State.
Braden Fisk, yeah.
So they did take one.
Yeah. So I have the Rams winning that one. How about you?
Yeah, it's great points. But, I think that back at home, I think the Bears can edge this one out. I think that, this defense is getting so tested early on with, weapons and, receivers. And obviously this isn't any different. And I feel like this is more of a prove-it game for the defense, if anything. I feel like, according to my predictions, I got the Bears 1-2 going into this, and the defense probably won't be too happy. But at the same time, you go into this game already facing, some of the best duos in the NFL. Hopkins, Ridley, Diggs, and Collins. So you're coming into this. I think Kupp and Naku are definitely top 3. So you're kind of going into that at home. It will be a little warmer out, so I think that's why the Rams might be a little happier that game's, in the earlier part of the season. But Matt Stafford hasn't had much success at Soldier Field. And, obviously with those dark at Lions days, we'll see if they call his touchdown throw as a catch, if you know what I'm referring to, back in the day. But I'm going to go with the Bears. I think that this is a game where the defense steps up. I think this is where Jalen Johnson, really steps up, maybe a pick 6 in there. But I really think the defense could be the winners of this one. So I'll take the Bears in this one.
Very nice. So we both are 2-2 going into week 5, where we are back home against the Panthers. Who do you got winning? We don't even have to. We don't have to talk about this one for too long.
Well, they lost last year to us when Tyson Bagent was playing, and we still won that game. We were pretty injury battered in that game. Like we did not have anybody. So now we have Keenan Allen. Now we have Rome. Now we have even DeAndre Swift. That we haven't even mentioned him yet, really, in any of these game plans. So
we haven't really brought up DeAndre Swift.
I'll say this though. I think the Panthers are going to be a surprising team this year. I don't think they're going to be bottom like they were this year. I like their coach, but at the same time, I just don't think Bryce Young has it in him. I think he's too small. I think he's too little. I think, it's okay being small and having muscle, but he doesn't have any of that. I remember I was watching the game with my dad last year, and he goes, "Who's that kid on the football field?" I mean, the kid is so small. Like, I just don't think he has it. And I hate to say that because it's only year 2, but at the same time, nothing's intriguing. So I think the Bears should. This could be a huge game for the whole team. Kind of, all these games I feel like are going to be really close. And you get to a game like this where you can blow a team out, feel really good about yourself and, get some bench guys in for some playing experience.
Yeah. Make it feel like a bye week almost. So you have the Bears winning. I, too, also have the Bears winning. I think it's going to be a slaughter. I didn't really like the moves they made this year in the offseason. I like Deontay Johnson, but he's not a solidified number 1 in my eyes. I didn't like the trade up for Xavier Legette because he didn't really show anything in college. He had 1 successful season, and it took him 3 years to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not the biggest fan of Legette, but I'm kind of on the opposite spectrum of you on Bryce Young. I do like what he has to offer. He just needs to get better and working at the pace of the NFL level. Mm-hmm. I think he was too worried about the pace of it last year, and he was at the college pace still. So I think he just needs to work on that and maybe his footwork and eyesight. I know that's a lot for a number 1 pick to work on, but he was taken number 1 for a reason over C.J. Stroud. So he's got to show it this is a make or break year for Bryce Young, honestly. Even if he doesn't have to be the best, he doesn't have to be MVP. If he can be above mediocre, I think he'll be okay. Mm-hmm. But I do think they will be a bottom 5 team this year, maybe 4th or 5th pick. I'm thinking, but I think it's going to be a slaughter this game. Mm-hmm. So let's move on to a home game, which is going to be in London, England, against the London Jacksonville Jaguars. And I personally, this is the Jaguars' first game of a 2-week span in London. So the time difference, the all that's not going to affect either team really. If it does, it's going to affect both teams. And I have the Bears winning this one. I like what the Jags did this offseason, getting Gabe Davis, bolstering that defense, but I don't think Trevor Lawrence is that guy that can lead them to multiple division titles, multiple playoff wins. He just hasn't shown it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the Bears are going to take advantage of that in London and get the win.
Yeah, I mean, you forgot about Brian Thomas too, their draft pick.
Brian Thomas, yeah.
Yeah, I think, some people really need to be careful when they're calling a quarterback generational, because look at Trevor Lawrence. I mean, a guy who he was supposed to be the greatest quarterback prospect since Manning or Luck, or whatever, and look at him now. And I hate to say that because he's been riddled by bad coaching his first year or two, it was, and then
no, it was just 1 year.
1 year, okay. And then injuries were really bad this past year. I mean, that guy had every injury you could have. And that's not fair for him, obviously, but at the same time, he's got a good team around him. There's no excuses. You've got Evan Ingram, who's a really good tight end. You got Travis Etienne, and you did have Calvin Ridley, but you still have Christian Kirk, Gabe Davis, Brian Thomas. So it sucks, because obviously he had so much hope coming out of Clemson, but I just don't know if he has it. I think we all watched the playoffs that 1 year where they came back against the Chargers, and we were like, okay, this is the Trevor Lawrence that they were invested into.
Yeah.
And we thought that would carry over. I knew a lot of people did. I think he was probably top 3 in MVP bets last year just because of his odds and how well he played. And I think a lot of people had hope, but I just don't think he has it in him. I just think that this is a Jags team that maybe has too many liabilities on a defense as well. You do have Josh Allen. You got to always watch out for him. But, other than that, I think, this is also a game where the Bears are coming off a high, in our opinion, against the Panthers. So, I think the vibe will be rolling down in London. I think that the team's getting more confident too, after a win like that. And I think they look at Jacksonville and kind of be like, it's going to be close. I think it's going to be close, but I think the Bears will edge one out.
Yeah. What was I going to add? I was going to add something, but I forgot. But anyways, let's move on to the next week. We're in Washington, D.C., against the third year in a row we're facing the Washington Commanders. Not on Thursday Night Football this year, but we are playing them against, maybe Jaden Daniels if he's going to be the starter, right?
Who else would start for them? Sam Hartman?
Maybe. But no, Jaden Daniels on the Commanders against the Chicago Bears. Who do you have winning?
This is a very close game. I think two teams are very exciting because the Commanders had tried to do a lot to put around Jaden Daniels. New head coach, obviously, Dan Quinn. You got to respect him, except the shirts he wears. You gotta respect what he does on the football field. But I think we got to remember also this is a homecoming for Caleb Williams. This is a guy who is from the area. He's also playing in front of one of his best guys back at college, Kingsbury. So, I think this is a game where Williams comes in with a little bit of a chip just because it's his hometown. It's his old guy. And obviously you're playing against the other quarterback that was drafted behind you. And, that's always going to be the conversation. Who was the best quarterback in the draft class? And now you have the opportunity to play against that guy. So I'm going to go with the Bears here. I think Williams comes in with an edge, but also I just think the Bears are too much, for the Commanders. I mean, look at last year. Obviously both teams different, but the Bears came in and just steamrolled them. Now, like I said, very different teams, but still, I think the Bears still, like I said, having more confidence as the year goes on. They go into Washington and get their first road win of the year.
Yeah, I feel you on that. Like having to show something. I think he's gonna go out. Caleb Williams. I think he's gonna go out there, try to do too much, and then cost us the game. Maybe that's what my opinion right now. It's not gonna be like that. It's probably not gonna be like that when it happens. But as of right now, that's what when I look at that game right now, that's what I'm thinking. You brought up the Kingsbury thing. You brought up he's from there. I think he's gonna try to do too much, and it's gonna backfire, and the Bears are gonna lose this game.
Oh, okay.
Listen, you know my feelings about Caleb, but
You know my feelings about Caleb
yeah,
too.
he's
Wow, that was optimistic here.
he's he's still a rookie. He's still
Yeah,
gonna have growing pains, and it's gonna be a growing pain.
yeah.
That's my opinion. That's my opinion. So let's go on to Arizona for the Cardinals. I think the Bears are going to win this game. I think Caleb's going to get out of his head, say, "Oh, my fault, guys. That was on me. I'm going to be better." And what he's going to do? He's going to show out, be better, win this game for the Bears.
Yeah, I go with the Bears as well. I just don't think Arizona really has much either. I mean, they're still building their team with Gannon as their coach from last year, who did a really good job with the team he had. So, I'm not the biggest Kyler Murray guy. I mean, I used to be, but I'm not anymore. I mean, he does have Marvin Harrison, but when you're trying to win football games, you need more than one receiver. I think Marvin Harrison's going to have one of the best rookie seasons of all time for a receiver, but at the same time, everyone's going to be on him. And who do you don't have anyone else besides him. You lost Rondell Moore. You lost Greg Dortch. You have Trey McBride, I guess, and then you have James Conner. That's really it. So, I
Craig
just,
Benson, they drafted running back.
yeah, well, what do you do? Um, and the defense is getting older. I believe Buda Baker is still on the team.
Yeah.
So, but I just think this is a game where the Bears come in. Like I said, they're just having confidence. And, I think this is another game where Williams might look at that because, Marvin by a lot was considered the best prospect in the draft and
Mhm.
rightfully so. So, he might look at that like some type of competition, but I just don't think the Cardinals really have enough to, handle the Bears.
Yeah. I I agree. So next, we're back in Chicago against the Patriots. Drake May. I expect Drake May to sit for most of the year. That's what I would do. I would have him sit behind Jacoby Brissett. That's my opinion. But
Uh,
I think he would be playing by this time. This is what, week 10?
Wait, hold on. I got a question for you. When
Yeah.
do we play the 49ers at?
We play them in San Fran.
What week?
15?
We played on week 15?
No, week 14.
Oh, I thought we played in like week 7 or 8. Oh, okay. So,
No, right now I think we're on week 10 with the
okay. I
Patriots.
read that wrong. Go on then.
You're fine. But just like the Panthers, I think this is going to be a steamroll game. The Patriots don't have that great of a roster, if we're going to be honest.
Hmm.
Besides Drake May, they have an awful offense.
Yeah.
And they really have no weapons. They have Keishawn Butte. They have what?
No, and he's
Tyquan
not good.
Thornton. They have
Agree
Ramondre
with you.
Stevenson. But I don't think it's enough to do anything against this Bears defense. I have them steamrolling them a lot to a little.
Yeah. I mean, what I will say is that I think it's another game. Obviously, rookie quarterback. I believe Drake May will start from week 1. It'd be pretty dumb if he didn't.
I just don't think he should.
I think this can be a lot closer. I think this could almost be a letdown game, but where they just sneak by and win. But yeah, I think what you alluded to, like they just don't have the weapons to really, offensively and defensively. Not defensively, they do actually have a pretty decent defense. So I will give them that. But also, we don't know much about the new head coach, Gerard Mayo. We knew with Bill Belichick what you're going to get. Now with Mayo, you don't know what you're going to get from a head coach standpoint. So, he might, Belichick, you knew like your offense was probably getting shut down or you was the lowest scoring output of the year. We don't know about Gerard Mayo. So, with that being said, yeah, I'll just go with the Bears, but very close.
Yeah. So now we finally get to a division game.
Yeah, finally.
First division game, week 11. We are home against the Green Bay Packers. And division games, they can go either way. Doesn't really matter. Doesn't matter if you're home or away. It's a division game and they're big. And I think Caleb's gonna win the first battle against Jordan Love against the Packers at home. I think the Bears are gonna pull this one out.
All right. I'm going with the Packers here. I'm going for the reason you said about the Commanders game. I think there's going to be a lot of noise going into this one because obviously everyone's pointing to Williams as the savior, the guy who will bring back, the series to Chicago. And I think he's going to be listening to that maybe a little too much. I remember the last time there was a game where he came into a lot of hype around him and about him being the guy that will, take the rivalry back on another team's side, and he had his worst game ever. So I think this is going to be a learning lesson for him. I think it's going to, he's going to be able to mature from this loss. And look, you got to give the Packers their flowers. They were a hell of a team last year. They were the youngest team in the NFL. They were the youngest team to ever make the playoffs, and with Jordan Love, Matt LaFleur is one of the best head coaches in the league. And they got great receivers as well. They're no big names, but don't get me wrong. Reed, Wicks, Watson.
A bunch of second rounders.
Yeah, and Josh Jacobs. Don't forget about him. And I think A.J. Dillon signed back too. If
he is.
And you know how Jair Alexander feels about the Bears. So that will we have to go way back, but that might be one of the toughest secondaries, or is the toughest secondary that Caleb Williams has to face this year. So I think it might be just kind of like that punch in the face, like kind of just like, okay,
reality
we're
check.
Good, but we're not like there yet, and we need to mature and grow. Kind of like you said about the Commanders game.
Yeah.
So I take
Okay, I feel you. So we're into another division game where there's going to be a lot of division games in the back half of the season. We're home against the Vikings, which I suppose is going to be J.J. McCarthy at this point.
Yeah.
So I think the Bears are going to win this game. I think it's going to be closer than people think, and I don't think it's going to be because of J.J. McCarthy. I think I talked about last week what my thoughts are about him. So I'm not going to talk about that, but I think this is going to be a close game because Caleb's going to get in his head, just like you said about the Packers. For some reason, the Vikings always give us trouble. Either way, it doesn't matter. All the division teams give us troubles, but I think in his head, this is going to be bigger than the Packers game.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to get a little too big for him, but I think he's going to pull it out in the end. We may win by like a field goal at the end of expiration time, but I think the Bears are going to pull this one out.
I'm going to go with the Bears. I think they'll actually kill the Vikings. I don't trust in J.J. McCarthy. You can only hand the ball off so many times.
Yeah.
I get it. You do have Jay Jettis out there, and Addison, but I don't know. I just don't trust J.J. McCarthy. He is a gamer. He is a winner, but, he did have probably the best running back in college football behind him, alongside the best offensive line in college football for him. So, and I think this is a game where you're going to hear that narrative all week. Eberflus can't beat, anyone in division, or stuff like that. Or it doesn't matter if the Bears draft a quarterback number one. They still will never be able to win division games. And I think the team's going to hear that. And they're going to be sick of that because they do rally around Eberflus. And I think they really, they respond to him, obviously. So I think the Bears are going to go into this one obviously pissed off. You lose to your rivals at home. You hear all that talk, you're going to go into that against the Vikings and really punish them and kind of inflict the pain from last week's loss. So give me a win against the Vikings.
There we go. Now we travel to Detroit, Thanksgiving against the Lions. And the Lions always come out on Thanksgiving. It's a tradition they play on Thursday. Yeah. So I have the Lions winning this one. When was the last time they played the Bears on Thanksgiving? It's been a couple of years.
David Blow, right? Was the starting quarterback, and we almost lost. I think we lost, or we almost lost that game. I could be wrong, but I believe David Blow was the starting quarterback out of nowhere.
Yeah, so I'm not taking any chances with them. I think just like last year, they won the first game and then we won the second game. I think it's going to be the same this year. I think the Lions are going to win this one on the back of the $253 million man and Jared Goff. we need to talk about that, but we'll talk about that after this. But I think the Lions are going to win this one.
Yeah, I'm with you, Lions as well. This will be the toughest road game for Caleb Williams yet, just because it gets loud in the Ford Field in Detroit.
Yeah.
Those fans get crazy, especially on Thanksgiving. That's a different breed.
Oh, yeah.
And I think kind of what we saw last year, Lions, really good home team, struggled on the road here and there. But yeah, I think this is going to be a very tough one for the Bears. I think maybe they can make it close in the beginning. Now, obviously, we saw the Packers kind of do this last year. They were a big underdog going into that game, and they stunned them. So you never know, but I just don't think we're there yet. I think that, you can joke about the money they've been spending, but at the end of the day, they're keeping the guys who, Gate brought them to the NFC Championship. And, we're literally one choke, or if they didn't choke, they would have made the Super Bowl. And who knows after that. So, yeah, I got to go with the Lions on this one.
Yeah. So now here's the game you're talking about, the 49ers in San Fran. Who do you have winning and why?
I think we're going to get killed this game. I think that this is one of those games where you feel like excited because, wow, you're playing one of the best teams in the league, but at the end of the day, it's the 49ers. They are a juggernaut. And I assume they still will have Samuel and Ayuk at that point. But this team is just unreal every year. And they're going to get somebody at the deadline that is really good. It's going to happen at some point. So on the road, Levi's Stadium, I just can't see the Bears going in there and even being close. I think we saw it. I will go back to the Cowboys game last year against the 49ers. When they went in there, Dallas felt really good. And then the 49ers happened. Brock Purdy's a gamer. Is he great? I don't think he's great, but he's good enough to always lead them to the playoffs. And now, like I said, Kittle, Samuel, Ayuk, McCaffrey. You want to go to the defense, we can go defense too. So I think this is a game where it allows Williams to get that experience that he might need down the road. But at the end of the day, you can't going into Levi Stadium. You better say your prayers, eat your vitamins, and
okay, Hulk Hogan.
You better do whatever you gotta do, brother.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be another punch in the mouth game. There's going to be every team has those multiple times a year. I think it's going to be one of those. I think it's going to be closer than what you think, but I still think it's going to be a punch in the mouth. Like maybe they go out to a 21-0 lead, and then just keep building on that. But then the Bears score a couple in the end. But yeah, I do have the Niners winning that game. I honestly think they should, if they're going to trade either Ayuk or Debo, I think they should trade Debo because Ayuk, honestly, besides the speed, I think he's better, younger, and probably
less injured too.
Less injury prone too. And we got to see what Brock Purdy can do. Like it was his first full year healthy, and we're going to have to see if he can do it again. Yeah. George Kittle's getting up there in age. The offensive line is not getting any younger. So we're going to have to wait and see. Nick Bosa's still there on the defense.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're going to have to wait and see. So next up, we have us traveling to Minnesota against the Vikings. Don't have to talk much about this one. We already talked about them already. Yeah. But I have the Bears winning this one as well. I think they're going to sweep the Vikings.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Bears on this one. Kind of an anniversary last year, Monday Night Football. We go there, close game. I think it's the same thing. I think, I'm curious to see how the Bears respond to these punch-in-the-mouth losses. And I think this is a good opportunity for them because it's another division opponent game. And I believe our division, besides the Lions, could be very close in terms of record. And, maybe a team or two in the division right at that wild card line. And I think the Bears will get it done, though. Like I said, I just don't like J.J. McCarthy. And, I don't have to – I can like a quarterback, or I don't have to like a quarterback, but I know if he's going to be decent or not. But I just don't see it in JJ yet, so I'm going to go with the Bears.
Yeah. Next, we are back at home against the Lions, and I think the Bears are going to get one up on them this time. I had them losing the first game. I think they're going to win this game.
I'm going to go with a loss on this one. I don't know, man. Dan Campbell just gets you riled up. And, like, I feel like that guy is going to put the score from last year's game on, like, the bulletin and say, like, this ain't happening again. He's going to, like, break, like, a brick with his head or, like, a table or something. Like, I don't know. I think this is a game that's important for the Lions because of playoff season. Look what happened last year. They were like the number 1 seed or number 2 for the whole year, and then they lost all those games at the end, kind of hurt themselves in a way, but were able to, pick themselves back up. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Detroit, man, they're so good. And I will say this. I know last year they didn't come back and win. This year, David Montgomery might be coming out with some revenge, of course, again. But I'll go with the Lions on this one.
Okay. So then we are staying at home against the Seattle Seahawks. And I have the Bears winning this one. I think Geno's at the end of his road there. Sam Howell might be starting at this point, I think. But they still have the triple threat in Metcalf, Lockett, JSN now. They're dangerous on the offense, but I think the Bears are going to pull this one out.
I think this is going to be a really good test for the Bears. It's another offense, and I think Geno's doing great. I think he's killing it. He's got a great team around him. You forgot to mention Walker and Charbonnet.
Yeah.
Those two are killing it. But also, this is kind of a revenge game for Shane Waldron.
Yeah,
his old former team. But I'm gonna go with the Bears on this one. I think this is a game that they really are going to need and make the necessary adjustments. Seattle's defense is still not great. You do have to watch out for Devon Witherspoon. He had an amazing rookie year, but
Tyreek Woolen's still back there.
Actually, maybe the Seahawks will win, but no. I'm gonna take the Bears on this one. I think they respond from the loss and get a W in the column.
Okay, there you go. And we finished the season off. Hopefully, it's not the end of the season, but we finished the regular season off in Green Bay. Right now, it's able to flex between that Saturday or Sunday. We'll have to wait and see. But who do you have winning this last game?
So I'm envisioning this game being like winner goes to the playoffs, losers.
Okay.
I'm envisioning that for this game right now because I do think the Bears and Packers can be very similar in records. I think that, they're going to be crossing paths for sure. We all know that.
Mm-hmm.
And man, this is hot. I don't know. Man, like, I'm going to have to go. I'll go with the Bears on this one. I think that, obviously that narrative is going to keep playing about the Packers. And you just hope that Caleb Williams can, focus on the game, not care about what's going on outside. Who cares how many games we've lost in a row to them or, how many times they beat us to make a playoff spot. Let's play football. So I'm going to go with the Bears. I don't even know what my record would be with that. You kind of lost track of me, Carl.
Yeah, I wrote mine down at the end here.
Oh, thanks for keeping track of mine.
I forgot yours, honestly.
But I'll go with the Bears, though. I'll go with the Bears at the end.
Yeah, I also have the Bears winning. I think they're gonna. I said they were gonna win the first meeting, right? I think. So.
Yeah, I think you. Yeah. You wrote it down, didn't you?
No, I just wrote down the last couple. But sorry. But I think the Bears are gonna shockingly sweep them this year. Like shockingly, I don't think it's gonna be any blowouts. I think it's gonna be really close in both games. But I think the Bears are gonna pull it out somehow. I think the era of the Packers over the Bears is over. I gotta believe. It may be not this year, but it's definitely next year. But let's believe in this year. Let's go all in on this year. I have the Packers winning or the Packers losing.
Oh.
So settle down. So my record I have is settle down. My record I have them at 11-6.
I probably had to be one. Maybe I was like one. I had to be like one or two less, maybe one.
I think you were 10-7.
Yeah, you and I weren't too far away on our.
Yeah, we're not too different on it. But I have them at 11-6. I think that would be good enough to win the division. because I'm not as high on the Lions as you are.
I do love the Lions.
Uh, I think that last year was a fluke year,
Oh,
and
okay.
I think they're going to regret paying Jared Goff. Speaking of that, let's talk about that.
Oh,
They signed him to a 5-year, $253 million contract. It's a lot of cheddar. That's $53 million a year. Yeah, that's the
it is a
second
lot of
highest.
cheddar. It is.
Oh, did that get you off guard?
No, you're right. It's a lot of money.
Yeah, it's more than they should have paid him. Honestly, I don't think they should have paid him. That's my opinion. I think he's going to be the reason they don't go anywhere this year. I think.
Wow,
I think they're going to be a mediocre team this year.
That is.
They're going to be 8-9, 9-8, somewhere around there, in the hunt for the whole year, but nowhere else.
That's some bold words, Cotton. I mean, oof. I'm not saying this because I'm high on them, but I do believe it was the right move for them. I see what they're doing. They like what they have. They like the guys around them. They want to keep that there. You don't want to mess that up. And I'm not saying I think Jared Goff feels the love. Like, I don't think you need to give him that much for him to be like, yeah, I want to be here. I want to stay here. I want to play for Dan Campbell. I think he would have been like, yeah, sure. Hell, why not? But at the same time, I think it's all about bringing all the guys together. You knew you were right there. And honestly, you could argue that the Lions had a couple of games last year where they really let down that they could have won. And I go to the Bears game, for example. That was a game they should have won. I mean, on paper, obviously, they should have won that game. So I think that the whole organization, especially trust Dan Campbell, and I think Dan Campbell trusts the organization because, look, at the end of the day, we have all clowned the Lions these last 2 years on the NFL draft. Why are you drafting Jahmyr Gibbs or trading up for him? Or why are you doing Jack Campbell? Why are you taking, was probably the second best tight end in the NFL draft last year?
Mm-hmm.
Sam Laporta, Pro Bowler, Jahmyr Gibbs, Pro Bowler. I don't know what Jack Campbell's stats were, but nevertheless, they do things right, and we can make fun of them for all we want, but at the end of the day, they've been on the right side of things.
Yeah, I feel you. I think it's just gonna go back to the Lions way and fumble the bag when they have it in their hands. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
But okay, so that was the Bears' schedule. That's what we think is gonna happen. We will go over this again, start of the season, maybe during preseason, see how the team's looking, get our thoughts on it then. But let's move on to the NBA playoffs. So today, a series ended. The Celtics beat the Cleveland Cavaliers 4-1. And I remember last week we were kind of nervous for the Celtics. Like they just went 1-1, and I think they won the third game without Donovan Mitchell, or they won the game.
Yeah, Donovan Mitchell's. I mean, they're done now, obviously.
Yeah, they're done now. And I think we were worried about them winning by not a lot, but they won the next 3 games, and now they're in the Eastern Conference Finals, waiting to see who wins between the Knicks and the Pacers. That series is 3-2 in the Knicks' favor. Next game is Friday night in Indianapolis. Who do you have winning that game?
I got with the Knicks. I think that game, what was it, last night, was a pretty big game for the Knicks because after those last 2 against the Pacers, those were rough. I mean, rough to the max. So for you to go out there, Jalen Brunson looked kind of back to normal in terms of health. Josh Hart looked pretty well, Dante DiVincenzo. So even if the Pacers do win the next game, because it's in Indy, and I think going back to the Garden, Game 7, after what's been a grueling series for both teams, you got to ride the home team and the Knicks. And I think the NBA is getting what they want, and at Boston and New York, Eastern Conference Finals.
They are in Indianapolis for this game 6, though.
Mm-hmm.
Just let you know.
Yeah, I know. I thought I said that.
No, you said they're in the Garden.
No, I said next game's in Indy, and if it goes back to the Garden.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Oh, were you asking me about one game? I thought you were asking me about the whole series.
No, I asked you about this one game.
Oh, okay. For this one game, I'll take the Pacers. Gainbridge Fieldhouse is a great place to play. Great fans. That's where basketball is, baby. Tyrese Halliburton plays really well at home, feeds off the fans, and I'll give the Pacers this one. They've played really well at home.
Very nice. I'll take the Knicks. I think they're going to close it out, and then like you said, New York, Boston. That's what the NBA wants. So right now, the Mavs and the Thunder are playing at halftime. It is 54-44 Mavericks. That's pretty interesting. It's now a best out of 3 series. Whoever wins the 2 out of 3 goes to the conference championship. And I'm going to take the Mavericks to win tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, they're up by 10, but hey, you never know. But I think they're going to pull it out.
Mm-hmm.
I think it goes to 7. So it would be. Let me look. The next game is in Dallas, and then the game after that would be in Oklahoma City for Game 7, if we get to that point.
I'm taking the Thunder tonight. Hell yeah.
Oh, you got to come back?
Shea Gilly. Yeah, I do. Shea Gilly. Hell of a player. Chet, one of the best players, and they're going to get it done. They've done a really good job at stopping Luka this series, and I think they found something. But obviously, some other guys have stepped up for the Mavericks, which is nice to see. But I don't know, man. They got this dog in them that I really like, and I think the Thunder, they're a young, gritty team, and when a young, gritty team is desperate, that's tough to beat. So I'll go Thunder tonight and Thunder in 7.
Okay, very nice. And then the other team, last time we talked, it was 2-0 Timberwolves.
Yeah, Jesus.
And now it is 3-2 Nuggets. And I said the Timberwolves were going to win, but in 6 games, I don't think that's going to happen anymore.
No.
You had them.
I did.
You had the Timberwolves winning in 5.
I did. Like, what the hell happened? Like a train came.
I said Jokic was going to figure out Gobert, and he did.
I think it's all Alex Rodriguez's fault. Let's be real.
Alex Rodriguez.
It's his fault. Let's just be real right now.
How is this his fault?
He needs to get away from the team.
He's won a championship.
He's a cheater though.
Oh my gosh.
But okay, whatever. I'm going Nuggets here. I think they win tomorrow night. I just don't know what happened to Minnesota. Like, I don't know if Anthony Edwards like lost his mojo or like
Austin Powers,
whatever did. I don't know. I really don't know because those first 2 games, I was even watching the highlights. Man, the T-Wolves look so good, but watching these last 3 games, and I watched the not last game, but the game before that was like a 30-point game. I mean, I just couldn't believe it. I think that it's catching up to the T-Wolves. Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon, Jokic, obviously. And I think it's a deeper team. You got KCP, Christian Braun coming off the bench, who's really done well for them. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I got to go with the Nuggets in 6 now. I just can't believe how much the tide has turned.
I think it's that championship mentality they all got last year. Like, they've had their backs against the wall before. So I think it's just that. And like I said last week, Jokic needed to figure out Gobert. He had those 2 games to figure it out, and then he figured it out for 3 straight games. So I'm also going to take the Nuggets in 6. Honestly, I think the Timberwolves already flew the white flag. I think it's already done.
I don't know if they flew the white flag. I know Anthony Richardson ain't like that, but
Anthony Edwards.
Or Anthony Edwards, but it's very hard to see them respond because of how bad those losses have been.
Yeah.
I just don't see it.
Yeah. So we'll have to wait and see. And then most likely next episode, we will be talking about the conference championship.
No, we definitely would, because Game 7 for Mavs and Thunder would probably be Sunday. or Monday.
It would be Monday, and then the championship start Thursday.
We'll definitely then be talking about.
So we'll talk Wednesday, and then the games will be Thursday.
Yeah, we'll definitely be talking about that.
And then let's do a little segment on baseball. We don't have to talk too much about it.
I got something I want to bring up.
Go ahead.
Paul Skeens, a winner in his major league debut. He outduels Justin Steele.
Hold on. What?
He outdueled Justin Steele. What do you mean?
No, he gave up 6 runs.
Okay, did the team win?
Did he get the win?
Doesn't matter. The team win. It's not. You can't be so selfish, man.
You said that he got the win. He did not get the win.
He
got a no decision.
He helped them get the win. He actually only gave up 3 runs, by the way.
He gave up 3 runs.
He outpitched Justin Steele, gave up 6 runs. But Paul Skeens, the man is here. One of the most highly touted debuts. His lovely girlfriend was in attendance. Well. But yeah, good to see Paul Skeens out there, though. I know it's been a lot of people's radar. I know a lot of Pittsburgh fans are very, very happy with him, and they're really excited for a guy like this. So really cool to see that. I was watching it a little bit just because I've been waiting to see that. But, other than that, Rafael Blanco of the Astros got caught.
Yeah.
And he's not even appealing it. He is not even going to appeal what they did. So he's screwed right now. So, and he was really good. He threw a no-hitter this year, I think.
Yeah, he's on my fantasy team.
Yep. But other than that, for baseball, for me, that's really been it. I guess if I want to stay local, the White Sox won 2 in a row, 2 shutout wins in a row.
Whoa!
Eric Fetty, KBO MVP, trade deadline bait, now coming your way. He has been awesome. Actually, one good thing about the White Sox, I will say, is Garrett Crochet. There was a stat actually about Garrett Crochet. That's actually pretty interesting. Let me read this off for you, Carl.
Okay, I'm listening.
Okay. Garrett Crochet now has 70 strikeouts this year. That is the most in a pitcher's first 10 career starts in White Sox history, beating Chris Sale.
Oh.
And we know about Chris Sale, strikeout king.
There you go.
He was a strikeout king against the Cubs a couple of days ago. So what I will say is that really cool, though. Garrett Crochet, man, good to see that. A guy who he got drafted and pitched in an MLB game in the same year. So cool to see that, though. But
okay, let's keep it local too. Let me shout out Imanaga.
Okay.
Best ERA in the league right now with a .96. Under 1 ERA. He's not having the most strikeouts. He's tied for 24th with 51 strikeouts, but he's also 5-0 record-wise. So maybe Cy Young right now. Some say he's the best pitcher in the league. Some may say. Me, maybe. But people are saying it.
I was going to say Ranger Suarez right now.
On the
Phillies
NL side?
Yeah, well, I guess I'm just NL, but 8-0. I mean, ERA 1.37, but 8-0. He's won every start he's pitched.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's crazy. It's a wild ride so far. There's not many teams out in front right now. There's only one team with 30 wins, and that's the Phillies. Ranger Suarez, like you said. But do you want to know who the hottest team is right now?
It's gotta be
It's the team on your head, the Colorado Rockies.
Yeah, I did hear about that. Okay.
They are 7-0 in their last 7 games.
So you can just say they're on a 7-game win streak.
They are on a 7-game win streak. Before the win streak, they were 8-28. They are now 15-28.
How about the Marlins having the worst record in the league?
I am not shocked.
Who would have thought that? I wouldn't know.
I mean, when they signed who's the guy who was on your team last year?
Anderson?
No, the other one.
Anderson?
Tim Anderson. You knew they were going to have a bad season when they signed him.
One guy does not make them bad.
I mean, records showing they didn't have this better record last year with him off the team.
I think it's other guys too, and they just traded their best player, arguably.
Well,
A rise.
yeah. Which shocking. I didn't expect that to happen.
Yeah, it seems like the Padres just like want to get better to just finish in second place to the Dodgers. It seems like
Yeah.
they're never going to catch up to the Dodgers. Like, but they
Or even at
always.
this point, third place against Arizona.
That is true.
Because
Like,
we can't
I
forget,
just don't.
Arizona made the World Series last year.
I know. I'm not forgetting about them. I ain't saying anything. I'm not forgetting about them at all. I will say this also. I know you're not going to like what I'm about to say, but I am very impressed by the Brewers.
Well, yeah, you can say that.
26-17, lost their manager, lost their ace. You know, they're playing great ball. How about the better Contreras, William Contreras? I mean, that guy is killing the ball.
Yeah, I will agree he is the better Contreras.
And you only say that because he left the team. And then Rhys Hoskins, that was a big acquisition from Philly.
Yeah, I wanted the Bears to sign him, or not the Bears, the Cubs to sign him.
I don't know if they could. Yelich had a good start. I don't know what he's doing now, but he had a good start to the year. I just think that's impressive. They lost a lot and they're doing pretty well. But
Yelich has only played 17 games.
He must be hurt.
Yeah, he has to be.
I think another team that maybe we're not talking about, and weird that we're not talking about, is the Yankees.
I mean, they're gonna be.
What do you mean they're the best team in the AL?
The AL East is gonna be a dogfight. That's why we're not talking about it.
I know. I'm just saying, but
shockingly,
Monsoto is everything that they wanted.
Yeah,
Judge is everything that obviously they've got. I think the big guy who's huge for them this year is Volpe.
Yeah.
I think he's been huge for them. Another White Sox guy who's been huge is Rodon. He's been another big guy for them. So, I mean, that's a good start for them because you know who's coming back for them. Garrett Cole.
Garrett Cole, yes. He hasn't even played this year.
So for them to be the record they are right now without their ace, pretty good for them. Pretty good start.
Yeah, it is. Last thing I want to talk about. The worst player in the league right now. Do you want to guess who it is?
Was it Tim Anderson or is it not?
No. You hate him too.
It's Baez, probably.
Javi Baez.
Yeah, he's so terrible. I've been telling you.
He cannot hit a slider, a changeup, anything that's not a fastball for his life.
Dude, he's terrible.
And I was a big fan of him.
Oh, you would have given up your kids for him.
No.
But... yeah, you would have.
No, I wouldn't have.
Didn't you have a jersey?
Huh?
Didn't have a Javi Baez jersey?
No, I have a Russell jersey. Addison Russell.
That's even worse.
That's the only jersey I have. But so let's go over his stats. The worst player in baseball right now. 167 batting average, 1 home run, 13 RBIs. His OPS 422. And those are all the place he is in. They are all plus 150 place. That is awful. He's going to get DFA'd.
Yeah.
Designated for assignment.
You know, as much as I like shitting on ex-Cubs players, I love it with all my heart.
You notice I don't take shots at former Sox players.
Because they're actually playing pretty well right now.
What about Tim Anderson?
Okay, other than TA, who's got baby mama problems. I mean, look at
Leave it off the field. Leave the problems off the field.
I wish he could. Well, we all do wish he could. But another guy who's having a weird season, I only noticed because of fantasy baseball, is Randy Arozarena. You see him? He has the worst batting average in the MLB, but he has 8 home runs and 18 RBIs. The 8 home runs is kind of what I'm like. How does he it's either home run or something for this guy.
Is he becoming Kyle Schwarber? I
mean, he might be actually, but he's still stealing bases. But weird, Randy Arozarena is a guy that I think America fell in love with during COVID. After his stellar play, he has the worst. The worst batting average in the MLB.
Wow, that's shocking to hear.
Even worse than Javi Baez.
Wow.
That's
saying something.
Tried to make it better for you, Carl.
Oh, well, I'm not a fan of Javi Baez anymore. El Mago's El No More.
Oh my God. What a dumb name that was.
Do you have anything else to talk about?
No. I mean,
no?
Baseball's pretty much covered.
Yeah.
Hockey's exciting, obviously. A lot of great games going on. A lot of people fighting. Gotta love that.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I mean, NFL is pretty much done now, being talked about for
the NBA lottery draft happened.
Yeah, we got another crap pick. Whatever.
The Bulls got the 11th pick.
But I did hear this is like this year's number 1 pick would be viewed as like the number 7 pick in other draft classes.
Yeah, it's not good.
Terrible. But what I will say is this. I don't know what the Bulls have a chance because here's what's weird. The Hawks were very interested in Zach LaVine. But now the Hawks are very interested in getting rid of Trae Young. So I don't know what happens here, but what if the Hawks called up the Bulls and say, "We'll take your 11th pick for Trae Young"? You know, I'm just saying. And what if you traded Zach LaVine for a high pick? So essentially, you keep a top 11 pick, and then you bring in Trae Young. You bring Young and Kobe. It'd be Young, Kobe. Actually, no, that might not work. And they might be a little small then. But yeah, we have another shit pick. I'm thinking Zach Edey, maybe.
At 11?
We need a center, man. We need a center. We need a center.
I'd rather draft Bronny at 11 than Zach.
Give me Yao Ming, man.
No.
Bronny's going to the Lakers. It's a fix. Literally, Adam Silver is calling teams and saying, if you draft Bronny before the Lakers, you will be fined. Now, honestly, it doesn't matter because they'll probably make money off Bronny merch that will cover the fine. But it's a fix. Bronny's going to LA or wherever LeBron is. I'd rather see them in Cleveland together than LA.
Yeah, I agree.
But that'd be weird though because LeBron starts in Cleveland. He leaves Cleveland, comes back to Cleveland, leaves Cleveland, and then comes back to Cleveland.
Hey, that's LeBron for you.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? Before we leave, I want to shout out Ricky. You know who you are. You wanted a shout out. He listens every week. Just wanted to shout out him.
Oh, man.
Besides that, I don't have anything else to say. Do you?
Slick Rick.
Slick Rick?
Yeah. We love it, Slick Rick. That's all I got, though.
Okay. Well, that was another episode of the Shy City Boys, episode number 41. We'll catch you next week for number 42, Jackie Robinson.